Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube and Twitch channels. And I am here to do a coffee stream. And I have both of my children home sick today. Hooray. This cough is just it's this spring cold. It's brutal. Pincalo had it. Both boys have it. It's deep in the chest. It's nasty, and I'm sitting here going, I haven't caught it yet, and I'm really terrified because I haven't caught it yet, and it's gonna hit me at some point soon. And knowing how I get with respiratory stuff, I'm just like, I am terrified. Because I'm just like, I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to hit me. I want to escape this one, please. But I know I'm not going to. It's just a matter of time. And, yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for my time. It will come, I'm sure. So I've got some videos for us today. It looks like the lazy fuckers in the House of Commons are off again for a week, because the Speaker of the House even said on Friday's question period that they'd be off for a week, and I looked it up and it looks like they're off, but I even went to CPAC and the House, like, there's nothing. Like, there are people doing stuff, there's committees going, but the House isn't in session. So, yeah, they're off again. They've dropped the bombshell of the budget, and now they're too chicken shit to vote on it, so they've all ran away. They've all ran away, and they don't want to actually do any work, which is always frustrating. And it's interesting because the Revenue Canada has reported like the highest number of people who aren't filing their taxes this year. It's like, gee, I wonder why. I wonder why. Maybe because they think the government is broken and they don't want to fund it. But of course, you know, the individual, they can't express their displeasure that way. Because then Revenue Canada goes, excuse me, where are our taxes? You must pay us. We don't care that the government is broken. We don't care that the government is misappropriating your money. You still have to give it to us. It doesn't matter that you're expressing your displeasure through not paying your taxes, which technically, I think, as much as I understand what taxes pay for, I think if the government is this fucking broken, the people should have the right to be like, yeah, I'm not giving you my money. Like, unless I'm directly buying something, in which case I have no fucking choice. But other than that, I'm not giving you my money until you fix your bullshit. That's what I think should happen. And like I said, I fully understand the need for taxes. And I understand what they pay for. And I understand that in a working system, taxes are necessary. But I also understand that right now the system is not working. And I don't think that these people should get any more of our money until it's fucking fixed. That's just what I think. But of course, like I said, Revenue Canada is going to be like, nope. You're not going to give us your money. We're going to figure out ways to get it. So just pay up. So apparently, we're going to take a look at a news article before we get into our videos. Apparently, people in Quebec were a little bit silly on the solar eclipse day because the Quebec Health Department is reporting at least 28 cases of eye damage linked to the solar eclipse. Optometrist Dr. Nia DeCulture on how the solar eclipse can impact vision and those who watched it without proper eye protection. Oh boy. See, we got lucky. The library was supposed to have glasses. The town said that it did, and they didn't. And the day of, the morning of, the librarian came around and was handing out glasses to houses. It was awesome. My kids had glasses, and even they brought 3 pairs, so even Pincalo had some. It was awesome. Quebec's health department says it has received 28 reports of eye damage related to the earlier total solar eclipse that passed over southern parts of the province. The 28 cases reported as of April 17th include inflammation of the cornea, dry eyes, and solar retinopathy, which is a permanent burn to the retina. Oh, fuck. That's always fun. This is why you don't look at that shit, dude. This is why you get protection. This is why you don't look up at the sky. This is why Pincalo took a picture of me looking up at the sky for fun, because I have fake eyes. The path of totality, where the sun is completely covered by the moon, resulting in a period of darkness, crossed through the regions of Montreal, Monterrey, not Monterrey, the Centre de Québec, and Île-de-Madeleine. Monterrey. Fuck voiceover. People watched the total. Oh, a picture of people. In anticipation of the astronomical event, officials advised people to wear certified eclipse glasses to prevent eye damage when looking directly at the sun. And Quebec's health department said, Quebec's health department, set up a system to report eye injuries in collaboration with the province's Order of Optometrists. The province said that since the data was collected voluntarily by optometrists, there may be delays in reporting. In the 28 cases might understate the true number. Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably going to be higher. Because as many times as health bodies and astronomical bodies can emphasize the importance of eye protection, there are still going to be people who don't understand. They'll think either, they'll think it won't be that bad. They'll underestimate how much it could damage them. There's always going to be people who think, oh, it's just a guideline, oh, it's the government being overcautious, and then they'll not get protection and they'll look, and that'll happen. The health department says it is still studying the impact of the eclipse on the emergency room visits. So, I'm just checking to see if there's more. No. So yeah, that happened to, and I'm willing to agree with Health Canada or Health Quebec here that it's probably going to be higher than 28. It's it has to be, because like I said, there's always people who don't think what the government is saying is as important because it's the government. And especially since COVID-19, people take health advice from the government very lightly, which, as I've been saying since COVID-19, is very dangerous, because the next time the pandemic won't be as light. Next time it won't be a coronavirus. Next time it will be something else that is much higher in mortality. And because of the way the government handled the coronavirus pandemic and handled the way that it rolled out a completely new type of vaccine, nobody is going to follow any sort of health advice, and it's going to be awful. It is going to be absolutely brutal, and it will curb the population significantly. That's just my prediction. And this is basically a microcosm of that with the solar eclipse. That's my opinion. Clownfish TV has dropped a video that I grabbed because I was very curious about what the fuck Webtoon is and why it sucks. Yeah, I had no idea. I'm like, what the fuck is Webtoon? What? Because I saw this video, it's like, Webtoon sucks. And at first I was like, is voiceover mispronouncing things again? And I used the number 11 shade, which is in the same range as the 14 for Eclipse. Oh, cool. So you got to view it. And that's important. As long as you had eye protection, then you're fine. So yeah, I was like, is voiceover mispronouncing a thing again? And then so I scrolled through it and was like, no, it says Webtoon. What the hell is a Webtoon, and why does it suck? Take it away, Clownfish TV.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to do a follow-up to Webtoon and contracts, and doesn't look like Webtoon creators are getting a very good deal.
No.
So if you listen to our previous episode, we did 2 episodes actually, I think, talking about Webtoon and allegations that their new originals contract was very predatory and very one-sided and very different from what they were offering creators at the beginning.
Oh, okay. I remember what this is. Webtoon is like I guess like an adult cartoon service. Like it's a streaming service for cartoons. Is basically what Webtoon is. I gotcha.
And now we seem to have more proof that that is the case. But not only that, they're also changing up how you can monetize your comic on their platform. Spoiler, it involves begging your fans for money.
Shocker.
Shocker. Spoiler, it involves begging your fans for money.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. Because, that's not what we're all doing already, right? From comic creators to fucking live streamers to people with YouTube memberships on their channel. Like, we're all out here begging our fans for money. Because apparently that's the only way we're supposed to make money. That's what these platforms think. They don't want to actually help us monetize. No, we're just supposed to beg you guys for money. streamlabs.com/blindpress.
Shocker.
Speaking of which, patreon.com/blindpress begging our fans for it. But no, this is the new reality. They're basically transitioning away from an ad-supported model to a patron type model. And they were working with Patreon at one point, which we'll talk about later, because we actually put our reruns of Shadowbinders on Webtoon in exchange for them. They would drop like $1,000 or $1,200 a month or something into our Patreon, which was cool because we already did the work. But they don't do that anymore. They're changing everything now.
Ouch. That probably helped them out a lot. $1,000 to $1,200 a month for what's it called? For reruns? That's a hefty chunk of change. And now they're not doing it anymore? Wow. That's painful.
So, and this particular creator, apparently, they were mad that they got a deal or self-publishing their own book.
They got it through Oni.
Oh, they got through Oni Press.
It's Oni.
And they're not allowed to promote it because Webtoon doesn't get a cut.
So apparently...
Holy shit. So somebody else published through another publisher, like a book through a publisher, and because it wasn't through Webtoon is pissed off, and because they don't get a cut.
Apparently they had one of the old deals where you were allowed to take your book someplace
which
else.
I knew that was the case because I said before you could do that.
You could get a book deal someplace else. But because it wasn't through them and they're not making money on it, they're basically, what it sounds like is they're not letting them run the ad on their page. Like they're blocking the ad out, but they're probably putting it in their comic or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're not letting them run it. That's how it sounds to me.
Yeah, they've look, I'll be honest, they do frown upon that. I know that they said before, like, even back when we were on Webtoon, like, you were not allowed to push your audience to another webcomic platform. Like, if you had a comic at Tapas or something, you
were more than allowed.
You can't advertise something that you've created if it's something that's on another platform. That is terrible. Like, I'm sorry, I know that you would like everybody to stay on your platform all the time, Webtoon, but, like, people have other things on other places, and they should have the right to advertise that.
Allowed to bring your audience from other places to that.
Oh, in fact, they encouraged it.
Yeah. You were allowed to go pay to promote and then bring your audience to them and pay for all the promotions, so they got free advertising. That was fine.
Absolutely. They were actually telling people to go back when Project Wonderful was a thing. They were telling people to promote their webcomics over there. That was an option to get them to Webtoon.
Bring it to Webtoon so that they could monetize your audience.
Absolutely.
Of course. You know, advertise Webtoon everywhere you go, but don't advertise anything else on Webtoon. That's terrible.
And then you don't get jack unless you got a deal, and then that deal is in quotes.
Yeah, because you're paying to bring people to the platform. Once they got your readers from your website onto their platform, then they would get plugged into the system. Then they'd start marketing other comics to them too. So, you know, they didn't have a problem with that. But let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
So this actually came from Reddit. And man, they're just letting the tea spill on Reddit.
As they always do on Reddit. Reddit is where all the tea goes.
About Webtoon. Webtoon hit a new low with how they treat creators. And we're going to go out to the post here. This is, I guess, Covenant Volume 1. This is the person that created it, Explodikid new account. And it is coming from Oni. My publisher, Webtoon, is trying to sabotage my graphic novel launch by deleting my credits off my episodes.
Holy shit.
And prohibiting me from telling my own readers that the webcomic they read is available as a book.
Wow. So they're taking... So at the end of his episodes, when he's got his credit run, they're deleting that because I guess he also has something that says, hey, this is now a graphic novel, go over here to purchase it.
The credits are deleting are shown below.
Because they changed their credits to put their book advertisement in the credits.
Yeah.
Which I know they don't want you to, whether it be book advertisement or advertisement or something else, they usually don't let you do that. But,
yeah.
But still, they're not getting a cut. If they were getting a cut of this, I guarantee they have no problem with that.
Yeah, because remember that new originals contract, they want the right to be able to cut these deals themselves.
This feels very much like a Patreon, like, because Patreon does have this thing where, like, if you put stuff up there, they have the right, like, that's their art and whatever. It's one of the reasons why we went and got the other page to put up the photos, because Patreon had this, like, we own your images thing if you post, which Pink Hollow and I really didn't like. But I will be putting up blog content on Patreon. So if you want blog content, go over there.
And if this person made a deal with owning themselves, then that cuts Webtoon out of the equation completely. They go on to say their lack of support and attempts to undermine my career has been incredibly damaging to my mental health and is greatly impacting my ability to continue creating my series. Their actions prevent me from reaching my 700,000K readers and will greatly hurt my book sales. Yeah, because when Oni signed a deal with them, I guarantee you they took a look at the platform and they're like, oh, well, even if a small percentage of your readers bought your graphic novel, that's still a lot of sales.
Yeah, they obviously went to the Webtoon platform, like to his fan base, saw how many fans he had, and was like, okay, this is worth publishing because we will get a return on this. But now Webtoon is like, you can't advertise this. You can't push people to go buy your book. We're going to delete your credits. So now Oni is like, hey, where's all the sales?
For us.
Mm-hmm. But then Webtoons is going to argue that the 700,000 readers were their readers.
Yes.
Even if you advertised and brought them to them, they're going to say that they're their readers.
Yep. They've allowed every single other series on the platform that has been printed to promote their books except for me, citing new policies that conveniently coincide with my book. And we're going to talk about that because they are spelling out the new terms. But yeah, it is interesting. Saying new policies that conveniently coincide with my book launch. Apparently, they feel comfortable forbidding me to promote my graphic novel because how do they, Webtoon, even benefit from me promoting my book? Is that what they actually said? In quotes. Seeing as I'm a creator who narrowly evaded their IP grabbing endeavors, they see no real reason to even allow me to tell my readers about my book. If you're new to me and my work, you might not know I'm very outspoken about artists and workers' rights compensation. Well, that you're in the wrong business.
Right.
Yep. That is not, you have picked the wrong career path, sir. I'm very sorry for you. You are well and truly screwed, my friend.
Webtoons is not the place I would have gone.
Bring it to you, but you're in the wrong business. You're at the wrong place. And discuss unethical Webtoon practices, so I strongly feel this is retaliation. Of course, it probably is just convenient timing. Were they the ones that leaked the new contract, I wonder? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Or they were, I don't know. There's probably a whole group of them, honestly. They're probably leaking contracts all over the place. They'll probably reply to saying, well, we just said you have to put it on your creator page. You can't just put it in your Webtoon. That is actually true. They were telling us that back in like 2017, 2018. Couldn't do that. Difference is in reach is 700,000 readers on my Webtoon and 11,000 readers on my creator page. That's it. They don't actually go to the creator page. A lot of people just read because you get a notification, when somebody updates. So they read the new episode.
That makes sense. Why would they go click more than one time? It would make, that makes sense. If it's just right on the Webtoon page instead of on the actual creator profile, then more people would just stay and be there to read the new installment, and that would be the best place to be like, hey guys, I have a graphic novel, you should go read it.
And we saw that too. Like if we wanted to talk about anything, it had to be in an episode. It couldn't be, because nobody cared. They didn't go to your page.
No.
From unfairly age gating my comic, denying me raises despite 3 years of back-breaking labor, and now sabotaging my book launch, they've completely destroyed my mental health, and I will no longer stay silent. If you're a reader, that I'm no longer able to reach through my series, or someone who might appreciate supernatural action comic, please consider pre-ordering my graphic novel. Thread above contains my feelings about my experience and relaying what I experienced happening to me in my comic and what I feel.
Okay,
That's covering your butt for legal reasons. What I
Yeah.
feel are the motivations behind the actions. Yeah.
What I feel, that is clearly, and this is my opinion statement, so that he doesn't get his ass sued. That is what that is.
This
I
isn't going to
posted a
help.
disclaimer for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is smart, because I'm thinking this person is lawyered up.
Yep.
Especially if you're dealing with a book publisher too. So they actually do work with some of Oni Press's competitors. They cut deals with Oni Press's competitors, so that probably factors into it too, because now their Webtoon book is going to be on the stands next to the ones that Webtoon gave a blessing to, that they have with, like, I don't know who, I think it was like 7 Seas or somebody's doing the Webtoon books. So yeah, I mean, this isn't a good look, right?
No, but not surprising.
No. But I mean, this is not surprising at all. And this does go along with what the other leaker of the current contract was saying, that Webtoon basically wants to own you.
This is the problem with a lot of publishing platforms, is they want to own all of your IP, which is not okay. Like, that is completely not why people want to be creative. That is antithetical to why people want to be creative.
Was anybody else saying anything in the Reddit that they had similar situations? Or I didn't read the Reddit thread. I read the Twitter thread, the X thread.
Yeah, this is coming from this is going to chase a lot of people off.
They said the same thing happened with Suitor Armor. The creator implied it in our Discord server.
Really? It's already posted here with more details. Let's see here. Why would they do that? This is it. Considering how last week or so someone revealed Webtoon's scummy and downright unethical contract and how it mentions the IP and publishing rights, I don't doubt Webtoon is out to pull this slimy stunt. A real, if you don't profit behavior. Webtoon is doing what the fuck. Oh, if you don't profit, I don't profit. The company is going a little too far. They have too much ego. Because of content, COVID, and they can't let go. Because of COVID, and they can't let go of the past or
what?
Basically, look, here's what.
Why would COVID have to deal with any of this? See, this is the thing. Yes, COVID has a lot of, like, lasting impacts and shit, but there are so many people that are like, COVID broke everything, and I won't do any. Like, I won't. Like, it's like they feel like because COVID happened, and because things were handled badly, that they have the right to just act the complete fool and act just completely uncivilized. That's what it feels like to me.
Here's what we said before, and this is what's probably behind it. They have had some major hits on Webtoons, like Lore Olympus, and that person, like this person, I think her name's Rachel, but anyway, got to keep her publishing rights, and she went and sold a shit ton of books.
Right. And here's the thing. It's like, as far as the Webtoons is concerned, a lot of these people, it sounds like they're younger. I think that other person's 25. You weren't around when this started. Okay. Well, you were, but you weren't doing this kind of thing when this started. It was people that were with the platform when it started and bringing all their audiences over, and then, telling everybody else about it and building it up over the years that got it to the place it is now, that they're leveraging these audiences and demanding the moon. And it's kind of shit, because if you take away creators, you got nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what these platforms don't seem to, like, understand, that they exist because creators exist, but all they see is the dollar signs that creators can bring in. They don't see creators as people with ideas that are vastly diverse, like actually diverse, not forced diversity, but actually diverse, and range from, like, all sorts of different topics, and that they have a chance to be a place where people can express themselves and showcase their individuality. No. All they see is dollar signs.
Flip side is if you go into it and then you take a deal and you sign it, then you're stuck with what you're stuck with.
Well, here's another creator. They said there's an update here. A. Razen's Manny episode 4 has been delayed due to a last minute review from Webtoons. I'm not familiar with this creator, but he says, "Dear readers, I wanted to inform you about the reason why a new episode has not been published. The Webtoon team has initiated a process of reviewing and implementing guidelines on the content of the episodes of Manny, including some already published."
They said they weren't going to let you. They were going to let you do what you wanted.
What happened to that?
Already published episodes are now being reviewed because of new guidelines.
Shittery there. Like, oh, okay.
Since these changes could alter the story and the characters,
what?
I will need some time to review them with the attention they deserve. Well, they said that you're allowed to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
They're holy shit. That's not okay. Holy crap, this is like old school book publishers. Do your characters have to be so over the top? Well, yeah, they're my characters. I wrote them that way. Well, I don't think they should be that way. And if you want this book published, you're gonna tone them down.
Uh-huh.
Fuck that
Wow.
shit.
Wow. This decision came to my attention just a couple hours ago when I woke up. This is why this week's new episode has not been published, and I've not been able to share this message with you earlier. This situation is complicated for me as I've continued working on my projects same way for the past 7 years, addressing similar themes, following the same content guidelines while trying to remain true to my own vision as an author. Please, I need you not to forget this story when I address these changes. I hope to resume creation soon. Thank you for support. So yeah, it sounds like now they want editorial input.
That is
He's one of the most popular horror authors. Now the other person was a horror person too. They start censoring his stuff more at the beginning and the end for the horror thriller comics.
That's interesting. It's all seems to be horror themed. How fascinating. Yeah, no, you can't have horror genre. You can't have horror comics. God forbid adults should write adult-themed things, and adult-themed things don't have to be sexual. They can also be horror. They can also be sci-fi. But apparently the sex and the scary things have to go away.
But then can you do like full-on nudie comics?
I don't know, but I'm just saying the other person was the one that had talked about the deal was a horror comic also. The one that did the Q&A. Ask me anything.
Oh, yeah.
That was a horror comic person. And they're like, that's happening. What's happening at Webtoons? It feels like they're unraveling. Money.
Money.
Were you going to say something money?
I was going to say something money. I think what's going on is it could be that to monetize the app, since it is an app primarily, Webtoons, they have certain guidelines that they have to adhere to get into certain stores, certain app stores. It could be the advertiser guidelines.
There are so many apps that are horror based. Like that can't be it, and it can't be advertisers either, because this is a comic book site, right? So you would think that advertisers are willing to have horror stories. I like horror comics or horror. I guess that's good too. You are funny, Cannibalistic Wizard.
They're not going to put ads on pages that have gratuitous violence or sex.
That could be. That's a very good point. Here's the one thing though people are saying about, we did bring up about all the people coming to Webtoons because people brought their audiences with them. The flip side is running a image heavy site like that costs them a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Like,
True.
I can't express to you how much money it probably costs them to maintain the Webtoon site. So, I mean, asking for something is not terrible. It's when you're starting to be like this ridiculous that I'm starting to think maybe there's, a financial hardship behind the scenes, because now you're putting the onus on creators' audiences to pay them.
Well,
you have this.
Yeah, remember? Yeah,
that's bad. Like, if you have a platform that was paying you, and now you have to be like, hey fans, can you please consider buying things from me and tipping me? Like, Jesus Christ, you're turning them into live streamers. What the
And we're going to talk about that too, because now they're basically making your audience tip you for money. And that's according to The Beat. They just released some new guidelines. I think they're getting the word from on high from Naver, which owns Webtoon. Naver is basically the South Korean version of Google, as I understand it. And they're a mega conglomerate. And I have to wonder if they gave them so long to become like self-sufficient. And they were like, well, you guys have been around for about 10 years now. And
I think it's longer than 10.
Shit.
I think it was like
I guess it was
2013, 2014, I think they came around.
Was it that? I thought it was like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it was 2013, 2014.
But I think you can trace the destruction of the webcomic scene. I'm not kidding. Look, things evolve, whatever, but you can literally trace the destruction of the webcomic scene to the introduction of webtoons.
I think.
Wow. That is harsh. That is some harsh shit right there. That is just right out there. That just you can point to the destruction of the webcomic scene, at the introduction of webtoons. Boom.
I think you could also argue that webcomics got the chance it got because of webtoons, because they centralized it, and people, before you had to go to all these different sites to remember it, but there everybody could go one spot. So I think it gave like Lore Olympus and things like that a better chance. So I think you can make the argument both ways. But as far as the webcomic scene as it was, where it was monetizable and all other stuff, yes, that definitely ended.
Yeah.
I would argue HiveWorks had a lot to do with that too, but that's a whole other discussion.
That's a whole other, because
I will stand on that hill to the day I die, because I was there.
Close to the end of webcomics, there was a network that basically tried to scoop up a bunch of these independent websites and put them under one banner. And the problem is it centralized all the power, and if you weren't part of that group, your stuff wasn't getting found.
Well,
I have the power. It was the Castle Grayskull of the internet. Of webcomics, I should say.
They also went out to Project Wonderful, and
they destroyed Project Wonderful.
I can tell you that is
they
true.
Destroyed Project Wonderful. They basically
we were there when that went down, and we were getting inquiries from Project Wonderful asking us what the heck was going on about something.
I had a phone. I literally have. I'll say it. It's been like 10 years. I don't give a shit. I had a phone call with Project Wonderful, HiveWorks, the people that ran HiveWorks, the person in charge of their advertising
at the time.
I don't know who's in charge now or whatever, but they were deliberately running up. Project Wonderful was kind of like an eBay for ads, and you could bid on.
It was so helpful.
Oh, it was fantastic. If I had the opportunity,
webtoons even.
I would have bought Project Wonderful in a heartbeat if I knew that Ryan North was going to shut it down. But then he went on to work for Marvel, and he worked for he wrote Squirrel Girl or something. I don't know what he did, but yeah, he shut it down. Probably because it wasn't worth it. But what happened was that was like the lifeline. Basically, you could advertise your site on somebody else's site, and everybody was in this network, and everybody got paid. And a lot of times people just take the money that they got paid for the bidding, and then they would just roll it back into advertising their own comic, and it worked.
Very cool. So it was like a bidding for ads, and you could pay, like you could have like an ad auction, and then whoever bought your ad, you could run on their site, and then that's really cool. I think that's a really nifty idea.
But I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but basically HiveWorks, since they centralized everything, they had all the power. They were anybody that was out of that group, they would run against them and really basically chase you out of. They would do something like before they started doing this, like if you wanted to run a spot and you wanted to pay $1 a day or whatever it was. Let's use $1 because it's easy. You would basically, if people that could outbid you, and then they could maybe want to pay $1.50, and when they ran out of their money, then you go back to $1, and that's how it was. Like everybody, kind of just took their turns, and you that's how it went.
Why doesn't advertising work that way now? Why can't we, could you imagine if there was something like that for content creators, like YouTubers and streamers and stuff like that? That would be awesome. I would love that.
When they came along, if you had bid like $50 on the page for a day, that would keep you on there for a couple of days. They would bid it to 51 to run you, or well, they would bid it up like to whatever it was, or no, I'm sorry, they would bid it up to like $49.99 just to make sure that you ran out of your money.
Yes.
So that they could get it for $1.
It was a very Disney-esque way of doing things. Basically,
so,
we're gonna run you out of so
they would bid right underneath you to run you out of money so they could get it cheap.
So everything was primed for Webtoon to take over when they came in, because at that point the independent webcomic space was decimated. So a lot of people jump ship to Webtoon, and a lot of younger creators only knew Webtoon. But yeah, back in the day, everybody used to just do their own thing. It was
the Wild West, man.
It was a Wild West, and you'd hold on your publishing rights and you'd cut deals, and there were people getting deals with publishers and everything. But now, if you want to get seen, it's almost impossible on your own website. So you have to go through Webtoon or Tapas or something.
There were things like that. Like, you had Drunk Duck and stuff like that back in the day too. But it wasn't like it is now. Like, if you cannot get found unless you're on one of these main sites.
Yeah. So that's kind of, so it's a catch-22. If you want to do digital comics, short of going and building your own platform is what I'm saying. Like, it was hard. It was very hard back in the day to do that, because even Shadowbinders hosting it was like freaking $200-300 a month.
Ouch. $200 to $300 a month to host that. That is expensive. Holy fuck. That's insane.
Hosted because we had so much traffic, and it was image heavy.
He literally got audited once. Because they couldn't understand why we were spending all this money on hosting and
a free comic
and advertising. Anyway, going back to topic.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about the Webtoons changes they just did to everybody else who weren't the creator.
Yeah, so this is actually coming from the beat, but it's not Heidi McDonald. It's Justin Guerrero. Wasn't he on America's Got Talent? Or
I don't what?
Wasn't he like American Idol?
That's random.
Gorini, wasn't that? I don't know. Anyway, this person's a webcomics creator. And they said March 28th, Webtoon Canvas released an email announcing the newest monetization feature for creators on their self-publishing platform. It's called Super Likes.
Yeah,
that's wow.
Super like.
It's not just a like; it's a super like. This comes
It costs more money.
Didn't TikTok used to do that? Wasn't there for like a month or two this super like thing on TikTok? That's. You used to read Webtoon? Oh, cool. Hello, Mr. Self-Destruction.
This comes a little over a year after Webtoon discontinued their creator reward program. Now, I heard that they did. I wasn't sure what happened. But again, when we were there, based on your views, they would put money in your Patreon account. And that's what they did. So, like I said, they would drop. And we were doing pretty good. We were toward the top of the, whatever they would cap it a certain amount. But I think we were getting like $1,000 or $1,200 a month or something.
That's insane. Like, see, this is... Why did they have to change any of that? They were helping creators, and they were a publishing platform, and they were helping creators.
Like that. Which, again, it was nice every month to get, because it was, just
did
reruns.
Did it go that high? I don't remember.
Yeah, it did.
It's been so long.
I think it went up to like, I want to say it was like $2,000 was like the cap.
It's been a long time, so.
But, or $1,500. I think it was, I don't know. I don't remember. It's been years. I mean, we're talking like 8 years. But it comes a little over, after they discontinued it, which acts an extension to the ad share program on Webtoon Canvas. Some benefits of super likes, some of the cost creators of Canvas, and brings up a lot more questions. Basically, look, this is what they're doing. And this is what everybody's doing now. YouTube's even doing this. Like, they get to a point where it's like, okay, we can't get any more ad revenue out of you, or it's not worth it, or we don't want to share ad revenue. The ad rates
you don't make enough to qualify for these things. You keep yelling, you're not getting paid.
Right. So your readers can tip you, and then we'll just take a cut.
Yeah. That's what those so when you see on YouTube channels that have memberships, that thank you button, that's a thing where you can pay the creator, right? Through YouTube. But YouTube will take a cut of that. Same thing with this.
Yeah, we'll get more money off you, telling you that we're doing it to help you.
Well, it's like even, the super chats on YouTube, they take a cut too. Yeah. Like, you think you're giving somebody $50, YouTube's probably getting $20 of that. I mean, it's just the way it works. Super Likes is a new monetization feature option for series creators on Webtoon's self-publishing platform. creators on Canvas, eligible series on Canvas will allow fans and readers to show they're super fans by purchasing and sending a super like on individual episodes. Yes. So probably is going to be highlight or something. They said it's expected to launch sometime within the second half of 2024. So they said it's like a donation system or whatever. So here's what happened. Yeah. The ad share program is harder to get into. To qualify for that program, the series must meet 2 requirements: have 1,000 subscribers and have 40,000 global monthly views. It sounds like YouTube.
God,
1,000 subscribers and 40,000 hours. They just
40,000 monthly global views and 1,000 holy shit. Does the math even work on that? 1,000 subscribers, 40,000 monthly global views. I don't think that math works. That you'd have to have 1,000, all 1,000 of your subscribers viewing your shit 40 times a month, at least. So at least twice a day, all month. Or 1.5 times. We'll say twice a day for half the month, or for like 20 days. Yeah. Twice a day for 20 days out of the month. All 1,000 subscribers will have to view your page. That doesn't work.
just pull that out of their ass. For very new creators, this goal seems daunting. Reaching 1,000 subscribers could happen through various means. They said they've actually made it harder to get found on Webtoons, though, because what happens is the whole front page is all originals. Mm-hmm. You know, when we were doing it, it was pretty evenly split.
It had a lot of originals, too, though, and it was hard then. So,
not like it is now.
No, but I say it's much harder now.
So once you're in the ad share program, you're going to have ads placed on your site. You have to meet a minimum threshold of $100 to even get it. The series must also maintain the viewer ads and keep the global monthly views over 200,000.
Holy fuck.
So to get your $100,
global monthly views of 200,000 or more for your ads. For ad share.
Let me get this straight.
Holy shit.
To get your $100, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, and you have to keep to stay in the program, you got to get 200,000 views.
But what if you don't get $100, you don't get to take it out until you hit $100?
No, and there are some people that they might get in the program, they might never make $100.
Yeah.
You know, so this is when they discontinued the creator rewards. This is interesting. I knew they did. I wasn't sure exactly what happened, but they said, this leads us to the complementary program to the ad revenue share program, which was terminated in February of 2023, the creator reward program. It was created in 2018 as a temporary program to help creators on Canvas earn additional revenue from their series while Webtoon was building their U.S. ad business.
But Webtoon was, while you guys were doing all the work and we were siphoning off of you to build up our ads.
To enroll in this program, creators needed to have at least updated their series once a month while maintaining over 40,000 global monthly page views. In addition to more, this is what we were in, but we were in before this.
This was the pre this, yes.
Okay, this is interesting because they're adding WoW. We actually got paid more than this.
I'm still trying to figure out where they're getting 40,000 global monthly views from.
In addition, the more page views, the higher the tier, the higher the payout. For example, maintaining a steady 40,000 gets you a bronze tier with $100. Tiers go from bronze to silver to gold, with the final tier being platinum with $1,000 for 1.5 million page views. We got more than that.
CPM.
1.5 million monthly page views, and they got more than that. That's insane. That is a lot of page views every month. That's insane to me. Holy shit.
Yeah, we got more than that. I'll tell you. Well, we were there before 2018 though, so I think they've changed this multiple times. When we were there, they were doing it through Patreon, and we got both. We got advertising, and we got whatever their bonus was. So it was like, usually it would wind up being, if we were getting like $1,000 or $1,200 a month, and we were not getting 1.5 million page views, we were probably getting half of that, maybe even a third of that. But they would give us like 800 or 900, and then we'd get another couple $100 in ad revenue, and then they would just drop it in our Patreon account every month. But now it sounds like they want to cut Patreon out of it and just have people just pay them super chats.
Wow, they've become a bastardized version of Patreon and YouTube all rolled into one.
Oh, and take a cut of that money. That's crazy. Yeah. So in 2021, they announced they're discontinuing the Creator Rewards program. So they just keep like, look, I'm seeing a pattern here. They keep changing the terms of the service on the platform, and they keep dangling the carrot, and then they keep shrinking the carrot. So by the time you get the carrot,
now
like it's going to be like one of those little carrots you get in the little bag.
It sounds like it's part of a little carrot. You get
part of a little, like a slice of a carrot. Like they were paying people. I'll tell you, at the very beginning, they were throwing big bucks at people to come onto the platform. They were doing contests. They were doing promotions. That the guy that they hired to run it in the U.S. actually worked for Marvel Comics.
Oh, shit.
They were throwing ridiculous money at established Marvel and DC creators, which did not work in the U.S.
So they wanted this to be a big time thing, and they were willing to actually work with people and pay big money, and then they got greedy. And that's what happens with everything.
Which it wasn't going to, because it was webcomics. When we told them that then,
totally
they wouldn't listen to us. What do we know?
Yeah, so this is what some other creators are saying about that. So they looks like they're ending the Creators Reward Program by the end of the year. It's going to bite for sure. I really don't have to care about page views there, so the comic won't be ahead there anymore. So this is somebody that was mirroring it. Another person says, Webtoon removing the Creator Rewards program from Canvas teaches us once again that no artist should ever rely on one source of income, especially from a company that has the power to terminate it at any time. This person says, Webtoon Canvas has officially announced the Creator Reward program is ending January 2023. This is what they said back then. It's a huge, significant blow to Canvas. Yeah, so it's just like, and $1,000, that's the max. So you could work your ass off. You could basically make this more than a full-time job.
Yeah.
And you make $1,000.
But then they don't trust me. They're making way more than that.
Oh, they're making way more than that.
Yeah, they're using you to rake in their money, but they'll cap it, and you could bust your ass. They'll still cap your earnings. And apparently they'll also become your editor on top of that.
They're making way more than that. So you guys are basically sharecroppers working at Webtoon. Wow, that's insane. So now they want you to,
painful.
And I always see companies transitioning to this. Like it gets to a point where it's like, oh, hey, the ads aren't working very well anymore. People aren't paying for ads, so let's have your people be able to tip. And Tapas was doing this before. Tapas did it with the coins or whatever. And I think Webtoon does coins too. But like they keep wanting your audience to pay their bills.
Yeah.
So they're kind of being cheerleaders for it here on Comics Beat. I can't tell somebody to do that. But again, I don't know what to tell you to do if you want to do webcomics, because there really is no alternative now. They've centralized all the power at web.
There is nowhere to go now, because they've become the big bad mean YouTube of the comic book world, and it's sad. Like we just need some good fresh content. We just need some good fresh content from new people, and they just don't want anybody to be creative, apparently. As long as they want people to be creative, but as long as it falls into their little box of what creativity is. And as long as they play ball with, making money the way they want to make money. And as long as you give them most of the money, then everything is fine. Like, this... It's the same with YouTube, it's the same with Twitch, it's the same with like pretty much any platform. But you can't go off and create your own, because then nobody will come and find you. So it's a very, very frustrating situation. Alright, I'm gonna hit the be right back button and go refill my coffee and check on my little rugrats. Because I just heard a little bit of an argument, and so I'm just gonna go make sure they're right, we're back. And I am ready for our next video. Okay. So we've got... Let's take a look at this. We're gonna go to the next longest video. And Asmongold is going to tell us why he thinks rent is so damn high. Now, I would like him to acknowledge that he has it pretty lucky and that he has a pretty good amount of money. I would like him to acknowledge that. Let's see.
The real reason why your rent is so damn high?
It's late 2023, the Phoenix area. Investigators with the State Attorney General's office are looking at apartment rents. They're up 76% since 2016. Something is off. These 4 building rents are 12% higher than others, but they offer similar amenities. They have different landlords, so you'd think they should be competing with one another.
Yeah.
But they weren't.
Why would they compete with each other if they could all settle with having the same price? Like, nobody wants to lower their prices. Price fixing, by the way? Yeah, but like, what I'm saying is that price fixing is a natural outcome of a free market. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true.
He is right. Price fixing is the natural outcome of a free market, but when it comes to rent, like, there has been a different, like, something has changed when it comes to renting. And like, I've heard of rental auctions up here in Canada.
Allegedly being set by one entity, an algorithm owned by a company called RealPage.
Oh, so a robot is determining rent. Good.
Oh, wow.
In fact, this was happening everywhere in the area.
That's old-fashioned price fixing using new technology.
We allege in effect a housing cartel.
Over 2,000 miles away, something similar is happening. It's alleged that all of these different units, their prices were set by one single algorithm, which sounds bad. And it could be happening.
Sounds terrifying. It sounds absolutely terrifying that an algorithm is setting rent prices. That, like, we need to not be having everything done by algorithms. Like, we do still exist. We are still humans, and humans need to set prices for things. The rent is so high because it's hard to get stuff built. China keeps buying places and fucking greed. Yep. All of those things, Cannibalistic Wizard. And apparently this algorithm.
Happening in cities and states across the country. Renters have filed over 30 different lawsuits against RealPage.
Oh my God.
Talk about what all this means.
Holy shit. 30 different lawsuits? This is insane. How is this not, like, national news?
Algorithms, these black boxes of data, are shaping our markets and giving an incredible amount of power to the few. And how the Department of Justice and some state attorney generals are fighting back.
Okay.
Because this is a story about how a few lines of code broke the American housing market.
And I wonder if RealPage extends up here too, because like we also have a different but similar problem up in Canada. Our rent and our mortgage is stupid high. But that's because our government has basically ballooned our national debt. But I'm wondering if there's also something along this line of price fixing going on up here with algorithms too.
Jesus. I didn't even know about this before.
What is RealPage?
So RealPage is a company that operates software that allows landlords to input their data into an algorithm, and then RealPage sets the prices for all of those landlords. This is actually against the law.
So they're not...
That's insane. Why can't landlords just set their own prices? Why Why do we need an algorithm to do this? That seems incredibly lazy to me.
Not price fixing because somebody else is fixing the prices. That's cute.
Attorney General Mays isn't the only one alleging this.
Our allegations are that RealPage, in combination with 14 of the largest landlords here in the District of Columbia, are effectively colluding with one another to set rents.
Across America, rent is up 20% since 2020.
Oh my God. Wow. Dude, this is in like 5 years, 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, this is why people like Justin Trudeau can say, "Oh, well, everybody everywhere is having problems. It's a global inflation. It's not us that's breaking things in Canada. Look, everywhere is having problems." Yeah, because everywhere the government is doing the same bullshit. I assume the IJ is filing the lawsuit. I think so.
2024 just started.
The Attorney Generals of Arizona and DC are suing RealPage and a host of big landlords, alleging that an algorithmic housing cartel is helping drive up prices.
Jesus.
In the pre-RealPage days, landlords would compete with one another.
They played a guessing game with rent prices. Push it too high and people move, leaving landlords hunting for new tenants. It was a delicate balance, a market. And I'm not sure if it was fair, but it wasn't rigged.
It might not have been it definitely wasn't a fair market, because like people with nicer apartment buildings would obviously not rent to people who even looked like they couldn't afford it. They would just look at based on, how you looked when you showed up to see the place. And then, slumlords could get away with whatever, but like he just said, it wasn't a rigged game.
Okay.
An algorithm helped change all of that.
We're talking about an algorithm that aggregates otherwise confidential information that the landlords have that ordinarily they would not share with their competitors.
Data like rent prices,
Damn.
lease expiry dates, any deals they offer to tenants.
That allows then the algorithm to spit out a pricing recommendation, all designed to keep the overall market at its highest peak.
So they are inputting data that they shouldn't even be sharing, which isn't that also illegal? Into this algorithm, and the algorithm is giving them a price that is going to obviously be high because as it was just stated, it's designed to keep the market high.
They are not charging what the market can bear. They are controlling the market. It's leading to the
I
exacerbation.
wonder how they could stop this. Because I feel like legally it's kind of hard to stop something like this. That's probably why it keeps happening.
Well, if they would have to. This would be really hard to prove, but if they could prove it, then that would mean, I don't even know what that would mean.
Of our affordability crisis, our housing crisis here in Arizona.
If you could imagine a smoke-filled room where the landlords, the largest landlords in the District of Columbia, came together to decide what they were going to charge in rent, to share their confidential information, everybody would be able to see that that's an anti-competitive practice.
Until recently,
it
using
is.
shared pricing algorithms like this flew under the radar. If your algorithm set prices, you'd just say, it's not cheating, it's a suggestion.
Right.
Not anymore. Lena Khan and the FTC have said, just a suggestion? That's price fixing. No excuses.
But it's true. It can't just be a suggestion if hundreds of thousands of people are doing it. If the biggest landlords are doing this, it's no longer just a suggestion. It has become a decision that people are doing. And it's absolutely price fixing. And this is from somebody who doesn't know economics, right? I'm full disclosure, I know jack all about about economics. But this just seems incredibly shady.
Page, according to the lawsuits,
Your algorithm can't do anything that would be illegal if done by a real person.
What?
they weren't even pretending the prices were suggestions.
RealPage has a system set up where the landlords who have adopted the system agree to a set of rules.
Y'all go and talk about killing them like a firing squad. If you go and try to kill them, they're just going to pay other poor people to kill you. Like, everybody likes to circle jerk about, like, oh, I'm a revolutionary. That's not the way it works. Don't tell them. You think they're not going to figure it out? Look at history.
One of the rules is that
Yeah, no, this whole firing squad shit, like, there's always going to be somebody with more money. And more money equals better firing power, by the way, because they can afford the nice toys. So they can also afford to arm people. They can afford to pay off and arm the people they've paid off with nicer toys, and they will come and kill you.
Works. Don't tell them. You think they're not going to figure it out? Look at history.
one of the rules is that RealPage gets to set rent prices. If landlords want to charge less than the digital oracle suggests, they have to justify their decision.
The justification needs to be reviewed by RealPage.
The French Revolution, y'all don't understand what that was. That was not the poor people revolting against the rich people. That was like aristocracy and high-end, like high-income earners revolting against royalty. It was nobles versus nobility, yeah.
Yeah, dumb asses. The French Revolution was not the peasantry. That was the aristocracy coming into the palace going, fuck you. Oh. Bring. Hello to the bring. Let's go see what that bring was. Why am I so obsessed with making that noise? Hello, thank you for the follow. Thank you very much. Okay.
And push back against the justification.
And if you push back too much, RealPage can kick the landlord out of the scheme, with one insider telling investigators.
Am I reacting to vids?
Happy to see
I am reacting to vids. This is, I do 2 streams a day. I do just chatting in the morning where I read articles and watch videos, and I play Mortal Kombat at night. So welcome to the coffee stream, and tonight will be the combat hour.
Customers go.
They also had a policing agent that would go out and make sure that the landlords and their leasing agents were staying in line and not deviating from the price that was being set.
This scheme, if true, has had
the algorithm guys had an agent to go make sure that they're following the algorithm. No, that's not Orwellian. No, not at all.
A real tangible impact on Americans.
RealPage advertises that it's going to increase revenues 2% to 7% for the participants in the cartel.
Wow. What RealPage is telling these landlords and is doing with these landlords is, don't worry about occupancy rates anymore. It doesn't matter really how many people move out of your building. You're still going to grow your revenue.
Can I react
over time.
to your video?
That makes sense though, right?
Who are you? And I'm in the middle of reacting to Asmongold's video right now. What's your video about?
Because like, yeah, if you're charging way more money, but it's like if you charge 20% more, you lose 10% of your customers, you're making more money. That's a good point. And you're also making even more money than that because then you don't have to do maintenance on those buildings or in those rooms. That's smart.
It's dirty,
these
but
coordinated
it's smart.
price increases.
In Phoenix alone, we've seen rent increase 76% since 2016. It is
76%.
76% in 8 years. 76% increase in 8 years. That is insane.
Oh my God. That's, you have a $2,000 rent. Now it's 3.5K. That's
Yep.
insane.
Yep.
Almost certain that people were
Holy
evicted
shit.
as a result of these price increases, and that some people were made homeless by them.
Oh, absolutely.
Some?
To their prospective
I
customers,
would say
the
more
landlord,
than some.
RealPage is pretty open about all of this.
Yeah.
You can go to their website, type in a zip code, and view a sample of what buildings are using the software, along with any corresponding price changes. We'll see this building right here, rent is actually down about 4%. If we just zoom out a little bit, a few blocks over, this rent is actually up 4%. They used to have videos where landlords talked about how RealPage's algorithm pushed them to raise rent.
Yeah.
But the company deleted it after the Washington Post ran a story.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course they did. Yeah. If you want me to watch your video, there's a Reddit thread. It's it's reddit.com/r/blindpress. Post your video there, and we will check it out. And I will, if it's good, then we'll put it. Yeah, what driving ape said.
Yeah, see, that's a probably good idea, because like you don't want to have a video that's like talking about, yeah, so we was scamming people like this and we made a lot of money,
no,
like, because
that's
it just makes
probably
you
not a
look
good
bad.
idea.
It does. That does. It makes you look bad. You shouldn't be doing that.
On investor calls, they're flat out saying the algorithm is going to recommend higher lease rates for every property. But the company goes to great lengths to train landlords to hide this scheme from renters.
Wow. I really do wonder if there's something like this going on up here. FYI, that account is 3 days old. Of course it is. What was I gonna say? So I really do, because there have been bidding wars for rent. Because we've got so much foreign investment up here in our rental market. I wonder if the foreign investors aren't using something like this to set their prices.
Landlords were coached across a variety of scenarios and told not to mention RealPage or pricing algorithms.
Well, duh.
Instead, they were supposed to say stuff like units were being priced individually.
So they just lie.
Lie straight out. Just lie.
That's cute.
RealPage and the
Just
larger
lie.
industry dispute the charges. Since the
By the way, I think this problem is going to keep getting worse. Because what's happening, right, is like you're having, like, poor people get poorer, rich people get richer. And whenever that happens, you're going to have more rich people with more houses, but it's going to be less. Well, it's going to be the same rich people, if anything, less rich people with
This is why we have the Reddit
even
thread.
more
Yep.
houses. And so that's going to, like, think about the ratio there. You're going to have even more power over the market at that point. And like this is happening more every year, especially now as like the internet has popped off. People are starting to learn how to do this. I think it probably was always like this to an extent, but now it's like super, super, super escalating.
I also wonder, like I said, if this RealPage company hasn't extended internationally into other Western countries where the rental market is out to lunch.
Because I think of, resources and tools like this that, nobody really previously had access to. Seems pretty sustainable. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. Yeah, but BlackRock's using AI to acquire and sell. Yeah, no doubt. Of course they are. It should be legislated against. Of course, they're just running the clock. Yeah, but like the problem is that the people that do this are smart. It's not like that. These guys aren't stupid that are running these systems and running these scams. So like they're really good at trying to undercut the law, get around the rules, figure out a way of, this doesn't really apply to us. Like, well, if we change this, it's technically not against the rules. Like, it's really hard to stop this shit from happening. No, they're dumb and short-sighted. Sure. I mean, like, you can say that all you want, but
But they're really not, though, because if they were dumb and short-sighted, they wouldn't be able to continue doing this. You know what I mean? Like, if they were truly dumb and short-sighted, this wouldn't continue.
You know, isn't it crazy how like they just always somehow come out ahead, but they're
Right?
all stupid? Sure. That's a cope.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of lawsuits, RealPage has largely stayed quiet, ignoring our request for an interview. But the industry has
You
published
should
a
never
paper
underestimate your enemy.
Nope.
defending itself. They make a bunch of different arguments.
And these
but it
people
boils
are
down
your
to
enemy.
Two major points. The first, sharing info doesn't mean they're teaming up.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because the rental world is just too big and too messy for any sort of secret deal to stick. But that doesn't seem to stand up to scrutiny.
The RealPage algorithm is being used by nearly 90% of the apartment owners in the DMV.
RealPage.
And this is happening with a lot of like big tech.
That's insane. That is nuts. 90%.
companies. I think it's happened with Google. It's happening now with smartphones and like basically apps in the US are controlled by two companies.
Yep.
So this is like a massive multi-billion-dollar industry that is effectively owned by Samsung and Google. Or like the Google Play Store. Sorry, Samsung and or Google and Apple. Excuse me. Sorry. Google and Apple. Like, this is bad. That's a very bad thing to have, like, and you're seeing this with everything, right? You're seeing it with social media. You're seeing it with renting. You're seeing it with search engines with Google. You're seeing it with like apps on phones.
You're seeing it with food and grocery prices. Because how many grocery companies are there even in the States? We've got what? You've got on the East Coast. You've got fuck, I don't even remember what my friends use. Wegmans. Pet Boys. And then in the West you got Trader Joe's, you got Kroger. Oh, I think you have Kroger in the East Coast too, but I don't know. There's not very many.
It's everything. Everything is becoming a monopoly.
Yep.
And the problem is that because I think a lot of the leadership in like government are so technologically illiterate, they don't even really understand what's going on. So like
literally.
They're always playing a game.
They're all Gen X or Boomer. They don't fucking understand how things work. It was evident during COVID when everybody had to use Zoom that they didn't know how anything works. They refuse to let millennials into government because, you know, God forbid the millennials have actually grown up and learned something. And they refuse to let people in who've grown up with technology. So we have all this bullshit.
20 years behind.
70%
I think that's what's happened.
of the rental units in Phoenix
Ignorant
and
or
they
paid off?
control
Both.
At least 50%
Both, actually.
of the.
Well, think about it. They're trying to make Android and Apple not be monopolies. Meanwhile, neither of them are monopolies. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Market in Tucson.
90% in DC, 70%.
Yeah, I actually, that's a really good point because I actually agree with you more now that you said that than even what I said originally. Because, yeah, I actually think that a lot of the senators understand these problems, but it's in their financial benefit to allow them to keep happening.
Yep.
I think a better way to explain it would be that the general voting population doesn't understand the problems. Or they do understand the problems, but they believe that they're on the right side of the problem, so it's beneficial to them.
That's true. Because right now, everybody is so ideologically driven that they will look at problems like this that affect everybody, regardless of ideology, and they'll be like, no, fuck the other people. Fuck the other people who don't believe what I believe.
And you see this very regularly. People that are happy whenever a bad thing happens to a bad person.
Yep.
But that doesn't make the bad thing good. I think for a lot of people, though, being able to draw that distinction is very hard. And so they can't push for this either. They can't push for, like, for example, getting rid of gambling in children's games with, like, microtransactions. Like, they can't push to get rid of this. And the reason why is because if you are a senator and your primary voter base, like the average age of a voter is like, I don't know what it is, right? But like, let's actually see. Average age of a voter in the US. This is really kind of hard for me to get like a super simple answer. but median voters, I was going to say 53, 50-something white person who didn't go to college. Maybe that's the case. I think there's probably a lot of other instances here. Voter turnout in elections, 2020 by race. Let me see, is there anything else here? Yeah, I don't think there's like a super simple way to look at it.
Mr.
But the
Dax,
point
what's
is
up,
that
dude?
a lot of people who are 53 don't have the same level of technological literacy that somebody who's 35 does. Because like you think if you're 53, that means you were born in 1971, right?
Yeah.
And so if you have that, guess what?
God damn.
You don't know, you did not grow up with the internet. You did not grow up with, what do you call it? You didn't grow up with like technology and the...
Yeah, my dad is a perfect example, okay? My dad is going to be 55 this year, okay? He plays computer games, right? He knows how to play computer games. But you ask him to do something like an e-transfer, he's like, "No, fuck that. No, I'm not doing that. Let's meet up." Something like that. Right? He get him to sign something through email. He takes him like a week to figure it out. He doesn't like the other technological, like tablets. He doesn't understand like how iPads and shit work. He's like he just basic computer knowledge, right? Enough to make Diablo and Destiny 2 and Baldur's Gate 3 work. Right? That's my dad. Okay? He is your typical Gen Xer. He does not fully understand how all this shit works. And it's the same thing with government. These people know how to check their email. And that's about it. That's how they know. They know how to check their email and update their Facebook page and upload their nice photos from their family vacation. And that's about it.
In the same way, you didn't grow up with cell phones, you didn't grow up with social media, anything like that. So that's a massive difference. Mm-hmm. And so those people just simply don't have
and they refuse to let
they don't even have the vocabulary
government
to understand the problems. So like whenever they hear that
No, he understands how iPads works. He just don't understand how people can use them nonstop. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But there are some... I don't know if he understands how an iPad works, because there's some shit... He doesn't even understand how half of his own phone works still. That's the funny thing. My father does not know half of the capabilities of his own cell phone.
that their senator who they voted for to stop border patrol or to start border patrol, either build the wall or destroy the wall, is focusing on regulating video games.
Yep.
They're going to be like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you talking about video games for? And that's what happens. And this isn't talking about Biden. No, I'm talking about either one. Like, I think the Democrat voters are the same thing. And like, remember, like young Democrats had a reality check. Remember in 2016 and then again in 2020 where they all thought that, you know, oh, Bernie Sanders is really popular on social media. He's going to have to win it. And then all the boomer Democrats were like, oh, I remember Joe Biden. He's been around since he knows what he's doing. He couldn't have been around here so much. He didn't know nothing. We're going to go with Joe. Like, we know Joe. Like, yeah, let's go for it, right? And then they just vote for that shit, man. And they never think about that shit again. Nope. Like they vote for that. Like they go up there, they get driven up there by like their church, and then they drive home. They watch the big game. They don't even think about that shit again until the next election.
Nope, that's true. That's true because they're so old now that they just don't care. That's just... It's like when I first got him... It's like when he first got his touch screen. I remember I handed him a piece of paper and he tried to scroll the piece of paper. Some Zoomers are the same. They know how to run and use some applications, but the deeper knowledge isn't there. My dad is a D&D boomer. Yep. D&D boomers are the best boomers. Albertsons, Kroger, and it's growing regionally, but Publix is a national grocery chain. Ah, yes. Yeah, you guys have the same three, just like we have Loblaws, Sobeys, and Food Basics. We have Compliments, Selections, and Compliments, Selections, Great Value, and President's Choice. Those are our three grocery brands.
And that's the average voter. That's hard it's hard to get to them and make them understand like a social media algorithm, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for them to understand like an app on a smartphone. Because they just don't give a fuck. That's the problem. That's why it keeps happening. I do think some senators are actually like technologically illiterate, and like people in the government are. I do think it's a big problem, but it's more a problem with the voting population, because the voting population doesn't hold them accountable for that. So like really, what does that say?
In Phoenix, that hardly seems like a fragmented rental market. And their second point, more houses, not less data sharing, is the real fix for high rents.
That is a good point. We need, but we need more houses and less data sharing.
That's bunk. You know, we've got apartment units all over Phoenix that aren't being rented right now because people can't afford them. The spaces are there, but people can't afford them because these landlords are setting artificially high rent via an algorithm, and that is just unacceptable.
And this is like kind of the problem with this conversation is that it's like the logic that even if they weren't using the algorithm, like if they weren't using the algorithm, would that be acceptable?
No. It wouldn't be acceptable in either case. You can't separate, you can't do these price fixes regardless of whether you're doing it individually or with an algorithm. The IG/AG stores now have a better price than I now know why.
And I think that ethically the answer would have to be yes. Because like you can never say that if you own something or you own a lot of things that you have, like the government has the right or other people have the right to come and take those away from you as they deem necessary.
No, I don't think so.
That's an extremely scary precedent to set.
That's
I don't know how they can tackle this problem in a way that doesn't cause 5 more problems.
Absolutely unacceptable.
That's a good point, because how do you as the government come in and say you cannot do this with your property? But hold on a second. But like how can, like at the same time, if you're a landlord and it's your, like, and you're renting your property, you are like subject to certain laws. It's not the same as an individual with their rent, with their mortgage. It's a landlord is offering a service to somebody else to live in their home. So should they be allowed to price fix? I don't think so.
I really don't know.
Things are shifting. Renters are banding together in class action lawsuits. Arizona, DC, and possibly North Carolina are suing. They want to end the scheme, refund renters, and fine companies like RealPage. The DOJ has started a criminal investigation into the whole thing.
I don't think this is just an Arizona-based problem.
Yeah.
This is not the only place where algorithms are being used to set prices.
This is, to me, one of the...
Somebody says government defines property, though. They absolutely can. I'm not saying that they can't. Please do not misunderstand this. They absolutely can do it. It's that what the effect of doing it will cause could be worse.
Yeah, it's they can, should they? should they do it is different than can they do it.
Because people go and they say, I see people in chat saying, well, that's good. They don't need it. That's great. That's a great mindset to have. What happens whenever they say you don't need something that you have? And this is the problem that a lot of people have. A lot of, internet revolutionaries have, is that they only view it from the lens of themselves getting somebody else's stuff, but they never think about it from the lens of other people getting their stuff.
Bigger kind of.
They never do. It's never in that context. They never take into consideration that somebody else could get their stuff. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. Sorry about that. I had a child yelling in while he's playing Minecraft and making his throat. You could hear his voice, because they're both coughing really bad, and you can hear it. He was like yelling to the point where his throat was cracking. So I had to go and tell him, dude, don't stop doing that. You're gonna hurt your throat even more.
But they never think about it from the lens of other people getting their stuff.
Bigger kind of issues facing kind of our economy and consumers in the next decade or so.
There's a lot of positive things that algorithms and machine learning can do.
And knowing the government, they would take the property from the small owners and not the big owners. Yep.
For society, but there are also risks associated with it. We can't be afraid of technology. We have to lean in and learn about it and make sure that we're keeping the public safe from the abuses that can sometimes flow from misuse of technology.
That's a smart dude. I hope I hope he can figure it out. That's the best take on it I heard out of this whole video. Yeah, I'm glad I saw this. I didn't really know a lot about this. Obviously I've lived in this house my whole life. I have friends obviously that rent. I've had a lot of my friends, obviously not streamer friends, but just my regular, friends I grew up with, a lot of them have been priced out of Austin.
Jesus. Just completely priced out. That's one of the reasons why we did not buy a house in Waterloo region. There was nothing in our price range that wasn't a fucking shack that was falling down, that we would have to pay $3,000 to $4,000 property tax on. And so we found a house in a smaller town, and even rent here is cheaper than it's closer, it's still not to where it should be, but it's closer to reasonable than it is in a bigger city. And that is another good thing about living in a small town.
Totally. That's how bad Austin is that they were completely priced out of the city that they grew up in.
That's horrible.
It's kind of sad, honestly. Yeah, it really is. It's already illegal, just uphold the law. Well, the problem is that the way that it's being done is so new that it's hard to interpret the law into something that's so new like this. That's the problem. It's that it's kind of like DMCA, right? Where DMCA law was made in 1998, but we're still using it in 2024. So what's happened between now and then? Everything's happened. So you have a law that's it's basically it's a squatting law too, right? it's like one of the reasons why people had squatting laws was from like the 1800s and shit like that.
That's true. That's true. And but the thing is that nobody just these don't get repealed. These things don't get changed, and then people take advantage of these loopholes that never got closed.
But we still have these like super like vestigial laws that exist for something, a problem that didn't, like, that went away, like in some cases like 50, 100 years ago. You don't want to set precedent too early and then have it applied to things in an unforeseen way. Yeah, I actually think this is a much bigger problem, and it's much harder to solve than I think some people are giving it credit for. But like, I do think it's really bad. Like, for example, like, I know how much apartments and places like this are. So somebody was selling a house near my house. And I remember Cody and Jeff, they came over to the house and they looked up the house. They said, oh, this is in the area. Like, how much money is the house? And they were like, I forgot how much money it was, but it was like a ridiculous amount of money. And it was like somewhere around like $500,000, something like that. And they were like, what the fuck? How?
See, and even this is how I know that when Justin Trudeau says that Canada's housing crisis is similar to those around, like, in the U.S., it's not. Because $500,000 for a house, like that's what it used to be here. Like, something similar would probably be over $1 million. My mother paid almost $800,000 for a falling down 100-year-old 2-bedroom house. That house that she paid for should have been closer to what we paid for our house. Our house is like compared to her house, it is huge. Like, our house technically should have been more than what hers is, just by sheer size, and we paid $500,000 less.
How does anybody pay for something like that? It's insane. Yeah, it's crazy. Friends in South Florida have 6-figure jobs living in their cars because rent increases are insane in Florida. Yeah. Systematic mainly because of private housing market, let free, and housing is viewed as an investment. Yeah, I know. It's like the landlord, like, land ownership culture. And it's like, really, if you had a lot of money, I feel like buying houses and renting them out is a pretty good way of making money. It probably is. Now, there's probably a lot of annoying things that you have to deal with, but like, all these guys wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't massively fucking effective.
Like, it can be incredibly lucrative, but you don't have to jack your rent prices to make money. Like, you don't have to be a complete asshole to make money.
So yeah, being a landlord sucks. Yeah, but I mean, the problem is that a lot of the people, because I bet with a lot of the people that own like multiple apartment buildings, they aren't really landlords.
No.
They are money managers for people that run the apartments.
Yes.
Like, the people that run the apartments are accountable to them. They don't have to deal with, like, for example, a tenant got evicted early and they shit on the floor. Like, they don't even hear about that.
No.
They're just like, oh, okay, yeah, for sure. And then somebody else has to clean it up. Yeah, property managers. And you think about it also for, like, the people that are, property managers, the ones that are actually dealing with it themselves. They don't really give a shit either because they're getting paid. That's their job. So it's like this weird thing where, like, the accountability is displaced in so many different places that nobody really cares about it.
This is the problem with these mega giant high-rise apartment buildings, right? Because you get, like, property managers and corporations that own these things, and nobody gives a fuck about the tenants. This is why we need a return to smaller mom and pop landlords that own 1 or 2 triplexes, and they actually give a fuck about the, let's say 12 people that live in them, and they make sure that the building is up to tip-top condition, and like the walkways and everything are cleared in the winter, and they like that's what we need. We need a return to the small landlord. We need less corporatized property management.
I don't know. Like, I think it's a huge problem, but I don't know what's going to happen. I straight up don't. Yeah, it's going to get worse before it gets better. I think it's going to get a lot worse. And the problem why it's going to keep getting worse is because people are so easily manipulated. So, like,
well, I have an actual landlord and he raises my rent every damn year, bastard. Well, see, that's the thing. Like, because he has increased expenses too, right? That's why he has to raise your rent, right? He's not doing it just to fuck you over, right? He's not going, aha, it's time to raise the rent, ha 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 ha, right? Because his property tax is gonna go up every year, right? His mortgage rates change. Return to caring, hashtag Newfie French. Or nuke the French. I like the idea that Asmongold is saying that while most likely being surrounded by moldy food and jumping bugs. Ah! Totally agree. Those places look awful to live in and are far too expensive. Oh, high rent is a big problem.
like, the problem is that a lot of people don't really understand any of these issues because they're complex mathematical issues. So you immediately rule out like 80% of the population. And really you're ruling out like 90%. And there's like, the other 10% inside of that probably aren't even voting. And so how can you get people who don't know how to do multiplication to understand a pricing algorithm?
You don't.
How can you bridge that gap? It's really fucking hard. This doesn't scare anyone at all. Well, no, it is really scary. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm saying that it's really easy to manipulate stupid people. It's crazy. These issues haven't reached a climax yet. Yeah, I know.
No,
and then also, like, whenever things do get really bad, what the people in power will do is they'll just create a diversion to make people get mad about that instead.
Yep.
That's just what's going to happen. I guarantee.
It will be a diversion that will divide us and get us to fight each other instead of call attention to the real
Guarantee you it's going to
problem.
happen. Personally, like, this is a bit of a tinfoil hat, but I think that's why we have so much conversations about identity politics now.
Yeah, that is
I think
exactly
it's a diversion.
why we have so
It's a
many
diversion from the fact that you
conversations
can't
about
afford a
identity
house, that
politics.
your future is, effectively locked away from you. But you're fixated around, like them moving or getting rid of a statue in a building. And I think these are important issues, but they eclipse everything else to a degree that's completely unrealistic.
And then these people in power, they get the people in your family who are way more ideologically driven to completely turn against you and just completely shun you and dismiss anything that you have to say as an opinion as an ideological talking point from the other direction. And you're just, you don't know any better. You're just some stupid right or a stupid lefty, and it doesn't matter what you have to say or what evidence you had that formed your opinion. No, like that's what the people in charge rely on. They rely on the ideologically driven people who are the ideologically driven people who only focus on identity politics in families to just tear families apart. Then there's no support system for anybody. And then they can continue to carry on doing what they're doing. It's fucking pathetic. And it's very obvious. But you can't point it out, otherwise you're just a crazy tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. But hey, What do I know? It's just most of the shit that me and a whole bunch of other people on this platform have been pointing out for the last 6 years, and every single thing we've said has happened so far, but I don't know anything, right? No. Alright, Rev's gonna tell us about community notes violating people again. I love community notes. I wish I could see them more often than I do, because I don't get to see a lot of community note posts on Twitter, and I wish I could, because they are just brutal.
Guys, Rev here. So today we're going to do another round of community notes violating people. This is a staple on this channel at this point. We've done 4 or 5 videos like this, and you guys seem to really like them. So we're going to do it once again today. Now, for your information, in case you don't know, the community notes system is one on Twitter that is a communal fact check system where applicable users can apply a note under a tweet if it's spreading something like misinformation. And if that note gets enough upvotes from the community, it goes live under the tweet.
And it is usually amazingly decimatory.
And this is something that is not perfect, but it's a very good system and generally pretty reliable. But one thing is for sure, it often leads to really funny results, like the examples we're going to look at today. Now, before we look at those examples real quick, I'm happy to share that my code REV35 will get you 35% off your advanced GG order over the next couple of days. You can see it ends at the end of the day on the 24th.
You can't use stand the left-right paradigm. Community notes violating people. Haven't seen that category on the hub.
But we get 35% off their shakers as well as their energy supplements. And it's a great, not only delicious, but also very example. And this will be the only person I'm going to censor when it comes to their name, because I'm pretty sure this person has a humiliation fetish with the amount of terrible tweets they make. So I'm not going to participate in that and give them the direct attention they want. But they say this. I've said it once and I'll say it again. If you think Jenna Ortega is hot, you weird as shit and pedophilic. She looks 12.
What? Blind waifu shakers merch when? Would you like some? Would you buy blind waifu shakers?
And of course, the note simply says she is 21. Now, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. If you look at Jenna Ortega or any other adult woman and instantly think of children, you're the one with the problem. And
Agreed. If you see, even if you look at an adult woman that isn't, like, well endowed, okay? Even if she's flat, you still don't look at her and go, that looks like a child. That's not.
And again, this keeps happening to Jenna Ortega because she looks youthful. People keep making tweets like this, and it's really, really bizarre how people want to infantilize her so strongly. But this person would dispute the note with a quote saying, "Community notes was not needed at all. When did I ever deny her age?" Literally right in the tweet, but the note says, original poster called people pedophiles for being attracted to the 21 years old Jenna Ortega, which was a factual error and misrepresentation of context. Community note was indeed needed.
Denied. You got owned by community notes. Haha. Sucker.
Now, recently we talked about this character, Aphrodite, from Hades 2. Now, the irony is, of course, a lot of game journalists are praising this fully nude character, but then attacking Eve from Stellar Blade, who is fully clothed. But we also saw people claiming that Aphrodite in that game is androgynous. We saw this user saying that her face was designed to be androgynous to represent men and women's attraction. And they also claim that the main protagonist, Eve from Stellar Blade, was made with someone who was only using one hand, implying that they were, you know, themselves off.
Oh, wow. So, first of all, Aphrodite is definitely a woman, and she is the goddess of love. There's no way they would make Aphrodite androgynous.
But that's besides, insulting on many ways, and especially since there's a good number of women on that team. But this note would be attached saying Aphrodite has historically been depicted as a symbol of feminine beauty, often depicted nude or wearing clothing that accentuated her curves and elaborate jewelry.
Yep. Because that's the reason every time you see like a really gorgeous woman, people will call her like somebody. There's been some reference to her being like an Aphrodite. Aphrodite was a goddess. Goddess, as in a female god. Yes, Cannibalistic Wizard, exactly.
She is not androgynous. Yeah, unfortunately, you got to pack it up here, Claire. You have been disproven. Here's another one saying this is a psyop to make you gay. Muscle mommy fetish is literally homosexuality. And you can see the note simply saying it's not gay for men to like women.
This is... Why are so many people now saying it's gay to like women? Saying it's gay for men to like eat pussy and shit like that? Like, what the fuck? I'm sorry, I have wanted to bang every statue of Aphrodite in existence, so yeah, not a man. Yeah, right? Aphrodite is like the pinnacle of feminine beauty, like... Fuck, I remember in Xena, I was always excited when Aphrodite showed up. I was like, yes! Yes! I always wanted her and Xena to get it on, not fucking Gabrielle. I hated Gabrielle. God damn. Gabrielle was so annoying. I responded to this, I want to wear a watermelon helmet.
Every time we do one of these videos, these community notes violating people videos, there's always at least one note trying to convince people that liking women as a man makes you gay for some crazy extension of reason. And here's another one. And of course, every time this conversation about muscular women comes up, they always use pictures of this same woman, who is Lean Beef Patty, by the way. She's a popular creator. She is known, obviously, for being very fit. And people always use her for these weird claims on the internet. Just, like, leave her alone. It's so strange. Don't rope her into your nonsense like this. Here's another one talking about Scarlett Johansson, saying, Scarlett is so mid, bro, with a circle on her stomach here. And in the note, it says, note needed, farming engagement for revenue is prohibited by user guidelines. We'll get into that in a second, but basically, like, Paul, listen, dude, it's 2024. If you don't like women, that's okay. You can just say that.
Yeah. Like, who cares about a circle on Scarlett Johansson's stomach? Watermelon roleplay equals drill a hole in you and fill you with vodka. Pink Hollow says, no. It's where you pretend to be a watermelon and she tries to crush you with her thighs.
Because, like, this is outrageous. And with subjective opinions like that, there used to be no option for a note because it's subjective. But now we have this rule, which is very real, by the way. This is something that Elon Musk tweeted out a few days ago saying, any accounts doing engagement farming will be suspended and traced to source. Now, of course, this is the most open-ended rule that's ever existed because basically every tweet is a form of engagement farming. Yeah. That's like the whole point of tweeting. But of course, I think he means the more dramatic examples of this. People baiting responses and intentionally spreading around misinformation.
Yeah, like those stupid posts where there's like, there's only one word in the English language that has double E in it. Or there's only one word in the English language that starts with S. That's that kind of shit. With muscle mummies are hot, it's nice to find someone who can hug back. Right? Engagement farming is really annoying. I block users who aggressively farm. yeah, like those stupid posts that are obviously engagement farming are different.
Accounts like this. We exist in a time where there is an actual scoreboard for people getting hit with community notes.
Huh?
There are people with almost 400 notes applied to their tweets.
Jesus.
It's absolutely insane. And
That's
one
not
thing
a
that
good
all these
thing.
accounts have in common is that a lot of them are spreading like internet conspiracy bullshit. And I don't mean like genuine conspiracies or people questioning the reality of things or really poking for the truth. I mean like genuinely insane, completely disprovable claims that they make in their tweets. Like some of these accounts, they'll make a tweet like, "You see this? This image is actually a symbol of an underground sex cult run by billionaires who eat babies and is funded by the CIA." And then the note on the tweet will say, "That is a picture of a plate of mac and cheese."
Oh, Rev.
Like, these people are genuinely psychotic, and they spread so much misinformation, and they're rewarded because their accounts are monetized. And it's insane that these people keep getting away with this stuff, and people even take them seriously in the first place.
The problem is Matt Walsh and Mike Wallace, and yeah, those assholes. Don Luker is there. Don I Walk.
Here's some another account that's definitely gonna crack their way into that top 10 if they keep this up. Historic Vids, a gimmick account that uses exactly what it says, historical vids. Here's one saying how they used to make rope before technology, where the note says, "This is technology." Yes. I like the very simple notes like this, where you basically disprove what they're saying in only 3 words. Those are my personal favorite, but
like those.
Here's another one from Historic Vids saying, "This is what your brain cells look like when you learn something new." And the note says, "This is completely false." Here's my problem, Historic Vids. Did you run out of content? You have the most open source of stuff to talk about. Historic vids.
Like, you could pick anything. There, you could find like footage from World War II. You could find one of those like historical vignettes from the Canadian history, like CBC shit. You could find like there's so many different topics. Like, it's just historical vids.
Any video taken of human history since recording was something that we could do.
Yeah.
That is a lot of content. And the fact that you're randomly posting this that has nothing to do with history is very strange. Like, bro, your gimmick is the easiest one out there. And the videos you're sharing, you're not even making them. You're just taking samples of other people's videos based on history or something like that. It's so weird that you have to go to this length and then get noted anyways. Like, it's embarrassing. Here's another one. I've seen this same picture spread on multiple nature accounts saying baby smiling shark. And the note says that shark is suffocating. Yes, all these nature accounts like, oh,
I think I've seen that baby smiling shark thing.
Look at the beauty of nature, and they're literally suffocating a baby shark, trying to act like this is somehow cute or something. Here's another one saying why you shouldn't visit Hawaii if you aren't native, a thread. Not a good start.
Wow.
So the note here says, tourism makes up more than 20% of Hawaii's GDP, over $2 billion in tax, and supports hundreds of thousands of jobs. Stopping tourism would destroy all of that. You should visit Hawaii at your own discretion as long as you are mindful of the local communities.
Yeah. Like, Hawaii literally thrives on tourism. Just don't go there and be an asshole. Right? Like, don't go there and act Hawaiian if you're not Hawaiian or native. Just, you know, be respectful. Baby shark, do.
Now, that is something that can be said about traveling anywhere. And I've seen examples of people making similar claims about Japan. You're invited anywhere in the world. You'll find yourself very at home in places like Japan or Hawaii if you're just respectful. That is the bare minimum. When you're a guest visiting somewhere, including another country, just be respectful. That is a universal language. There's
shocking.
pretty much no
Be
misunderstanding.
respectful.
Just be respectful
what a
of the
novel
people
concept.
who live in that country. That is it. Here's another one saying list of things that don't hydrate you. Plain water, and then a list of things that do hydrate you. Milk, gelatinous broth, orange juice, raw meat. Raw meat. Look.
Okay. This has to be a troll. This has to be a troll. You could add end wokeness to the list as well.
Look, if you're going to eat raw meat, you're going to definitely need some hydration because you're going to be spilling out your insides because you're going to catch diseases from this. Okay, but the note's very simple. You can ignore all this garbage here. Water does, in fact, hydrate you. It is like almost conspiracy level when you have to say that water is hydrating you. Like you have to convince people that drinking water will hydrate you.
No, you know what? I think we should just let these people think that water doesn't hydrate you and just let them go. Just let Darwin take his quota of people. If they think that water is not going to hydrate them and they would rather eat raw meat instead, then that's fine. Let's let them do that.
Here's another one saying subway station in Guangzhou, China. This would be impossible to build in the West nowadays.
What?
And the note says, this is the...
Do you know how many subway systems exist in the West?
Leipzig, Germany. Yes, I saw people in the replies to this saying, this is literally my commute. And you're telling me this couldn't exist in Germany? Like, I don't understand that the sympathizing for China is something that's very, very strong on Twitter, including tweets like this saying, under communism, you already know this tweet is ass. You already know 2 words in, you know it's terrible. Under communism, every family will have food on the table. Where the note says, communist countries undergo food shortages regularly nowadays. Before the fall of the Soviet Union, not only were these shortages frequent as well, but communist governments also made them happen purposefully under the pretense of collectivization. And
Facts. That's why when I hear disabled people bitching about capitalism, I go find me a country where there were successful disabled people. Offering to Darwin? Yep. The biggest famine existed under communism, you twits. Right?
And that is definitely a very interesting section of history if you want to check that out, but very true. Here's another very disturbing note. This comes with a backstory. I believe Moist Critical made a video going over this if you want to check that out. But this is very, very strange. So if you didn't notice, about a week ago, we had a solar eclipse, okay?
Yep.
A very rare event. And this individual with over 100,000 followers on Twitter, by the way, who's like a astrology type account.
Oh, Jesus.
They thought this was the sign of the apocalypse. And they actually acted on it.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Of course it was an astrology person.
And during the solar eclipse, she murdered her own family and offed herself.
Holy fuck. I had no idea about this. What the fuck, man? Your whole family and yourself.
In response to this belief. She genuinely believed it was the end of the world and took her whole family down with her.
Dude, there were stories for months about this eclipse happening and that it was normal and that the last one was in 1979. Why are astrology people so stupid?
It's a very, very bizarre story. Like I said, other people have made videos on it, but it's very tragic. Terrible, terrible stuff. But here's another one saying, I experienced my first earthquake in New Jersey. We never get earthquakes. The climate crisis is real. The weirdest experience ever.
Okay. Earthquakes will happen no matter what the climate is. You idiot. That turned dark really fast, right, Mr. Dax?
And the note says, New Jersey sits on a fault line, has nothing to do with climate change. Yeah, obviously it's a little more rare to have an earthquake in New Jersey, but yes, they are on a fault line. That is a fact. It has nothing to do with any sort of climate change. And also the way people reacted to that earthquake was hilarious. Within literally hours, there were people selling shirts saying, I survived the earthquake in New Jersey of 2024.
Dude, it was probably like a 2 on the Richter scale.
It's like, it's very bizarre stuff. But here's another one. Speaking of climate change, this user saying, is it time for Greta to release a swimsuit calendar or something to raise awareness for the environment? And they get noted saying this image appears to have been digitally altered to make Greta Thunberg's breasts appear larger than reality.
Greta Thunberg doesn't have big tits. That's funny. That's too funny. 1999 there was an earthquake. Solar eclipses happen every 18 months roughly. The eclipse was forecasted 400 years ago. The epicenter was in Pennsylvania. I felt it all the way the fuck up here. I've fallen because of a bigger earthquake. Yeah, I was in an earthquake up in Ottawa. It was like a 4, I think. I slept through it, but it threw me sideways across the bed.
Yeah, you know, I think Greta's pretty annoying, but this tweet is weird. You are a weird person for making this tweet. Not only what's captioned, but also photoshopping her body. Brother, yeah, this is weird. Weird stuff. Here's another one from Kamala Harris, the VP, saying nobody should have to go to jail for smoking weed. Where the note says, as district attorney, Kamala Harris oversaw 1,900 convictions for marijuana offenses, some of which resulted in jail time.
Thank you, community notes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank God for the community notes, because people eat tweets like this up without knowing the context and how much of a hypocrite she is on that subject. And here's the final note saying, Cybertruck is savage on off-roading trails and handles the mud like a champ. And the note says this is not off-roading because they are on a road. Yes. Brilliant, simple, and effective note. But that is another round of community notes violating people. Like I said, I enjoy this little segment. I know you guys do too. So we'll do another one of these in a couple weeks, maybe a month. And as always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's video in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.
So that I love, that's what I mean. I love videos like this because I don't get to see community notes. So I like to get access to the notes and see what they say and see the wonderful notes that are there. The last total eclipse was on December 4th, 2021 in Antarctica. Next one is August 12th, 2026. Over the Arctic, Greenland, Iceland, Spain, and northeastern Europe. Yep, Pink Hollow found that out. He looked that up. So, our last video, Pink Hollow and I have been watching a bunch of Alva and Preach reactions to Jubilee over the weekend, and they just posted this video like 15, 16 hours ago. It's called Jubilee May Delete Our Channel. So, let's take a look at this and see. That's why I hate the whole concept of this is the only solar eclipse in our lifetime bullshit. Yeah. Well, don't forget the primary reason you do these reactions is you don't have the ability to do this research. Exactly. I like these things like with the community notes or sometimes like Asmongold or Rev like have access to screenshots where my screen reader will just say image and it won't tell me what's in the image. So that's why I watch videos like this so that I can get the access to the research that I can't do. So let's see what Abba and Preach have to tell us about Jubilee.
Where we've been, I've been dealing with some stuff on the back end. We got a bit of a problem where, as you can see in the title, it looks like the Jubilee channel is trying to have us deleted. Now, maybe that's not the best characterization, but
we don't know if they're trying to have us deleted.
Well, what they're doing might result in us being deleted.
Yes.
We had videos recently that were flagged, some new, some old, by a company called LDS Affiliate, which on behalf of Jubilee is flagging a bunch of their videos saying that we are infringing on their copyright.
How? They're reacting to your video. They're reacting. Abba and Preach's quality content. I should watch them more. They're funny. 99% of the videos out there, you will never be as able to do that level of research, screenshots, stuff like that. You can't do. Yeah, exactly. I feel bad because I thought they were fresh and fit for the longest time. Oh, shit. Yeah, I thought they were in the same category, like in the same sphere as fresh and fit.
I'm not going to make a video about something like this normally. I appeal it. I go through the same steps that I do with all the other channels. Generally, after an appeal or two, everything gets undone. But this time, no. They're going forward with the removal. And they're saying if these videos are not removed in the next 5 to 6 days, they will give us a copyright strike. And
now that's not fair.
There's enough of them that we would probably get 3 copyright strikes and have all the channels removed.
Now, this is fucked up because they are doing transformative content. They're pausing, they're reacting, they're putting in commentary. They even speed up the video, like the video they're watching, they put it on 0.25 or 0.5 speed. Like, they are doing transformative content.
Now, you guys might be saying, but why aren't you panicking? There's a couple of reasons. One, I've always thought this was possible with YouTube. That's why I told you guys, enjoy us while we're here, because we could disappear at any point. And two, no, that's really the only reason. That's the only reason I'm not panicking. I think
I had heard LDS Affiliate and thought Mormons. That's what I thought too. Now BP can say they're black. Oh yeah, they're black.
Always kind of.
I can hear. I know they're black. They're from Montreal. They have a specific way of talking. I know.
I got a bit of a doomer mentality in that regard, so this shit might go. And it's a bit frustrating because, if somebody does this kind of stuff, it's like, okay, maybe they're crazy about their copyright. But it's a bit different with these guys because they've already been on the record saying they're fine with this kind of content. So
yeah, they have. I know that they have said they're fine with people reacting to them. But they've already come out and said that they think Abba and Preach are mean. She loves hearing Preach go into his rants in nothing but French. Oh my god! When Preach goes fucking downtown Montreal, fucking French, it's fucking amazing. I love it. He goes straight street French, and it's great. It's fucking great.
I remember this because I remember we reacted to this a long time ago. Here, I'll play the clip for you.
I don't like when other channels react to our videos. Taylor?
Disagree.
Dan?
Disagree.
John?
Strongly agree.
Jason?
Strongly disagree.
Kendra?
Disagree.
Tyree?
Somewhat disagree.
Ragini?
Strongly disagree.
Brandon?
Somewhat agree. Abba and Preach.
We're just naming them now? Okay.
I do agree that sometimes when they're just being judgmental for no reason, then I don't like that either, but I feel sometimes some of the reaction videos are actually so funny.
Yeah, I watch Abba and Preach videos, and I think every time I watch a video, it like hurts. Because I remember when Abba and Preach reacted to our video when Bonnie has a conversation with a Jubilee critic, like that, like watching that video, I think that ruined my like entire week. Like I was very like bummed because that was a video where I put like so much effort into, but I don't know, I just like keep watching them. Even though like I don't love them, like I enjoy watching the videos and like I learn a lot and I'm like really curious.
Oh gee, it's almost like criticism is good. Jesus. John's the odd man out. He's a fucking idiot for his reason.
I know they are playing the game fair. I just sometimes don't like the game.
I don't like the game. I don't like it. I want to be able to put out content into the public sphere and just not have it criticized or reacted to. I don't like that.
I'm gonna get roasted.
Oh, yeah, you're done. You're done. Bye, John.
What a lot of folks don't know is we allow folks to monetize off of our content, right? And that's a deliberate choice that we've made, is actually that we could take away their monetization so that they're not making money off of using our content, but we actually give them that permission, and we think that's one of the ways that we continue to operate in the spirit of like our mission. Like I'm pretty honored in some ways that PewDiePie is reacting to so many of our videos. He's like literally one of the biggest YouTubers ever, and the fact that he is watching our videos so intently and reacting to them, like I think it's a great sign.
And mind you, they talk about the fact that we react to our channel. Some they say like the criticism's a bit harsh, but hey, it's part of the game. It's fine, right?
Yeah, and now they're like, no, you're mean. I don't like it. I don't like it. The CEO in this group is in this group, and even he says it's all good, and that was the CEO.
So
okay.
My question is, what's changed? And if it has changed, why didn't you just have it publicly said we don't want anyone else reacting? But
because it's just you two. That's why.
that's not. I've never heard. Have you heard anything to the contrary?
No, but they don't have to advise anybody. They can change that decision. And if that guy that agrees, most of them mostly somewhat disagree or somewhat agree or whatever. So they're very like more much of an offense. If that guy is not part of Jubilee no more.
No, he's a CEO. He's still part of it.
Oh, okay. Well, then I got nothing.
And here's the thing I question. Okay, fine. Let's say you don't want us because you feel like it's a copyright infringement. Are you doing this to everyone else that you collaborate? Because you collaborate with a lot of these creators. Are you doing this to PewDiePie? Are you doing this to Cody Co? Are you guys targeting all these people that you've worked with that are creators who've reacted to their stuff and tell them to take down their videos of you? That's the thing that I don't understand.
I'm gonna say
While Fresh and Fit, Just Pearly Things, and every other loser in the red pill space are taking L's.
Again!
We want you guys to get some W's with today's sponsor.
First,
sorry, guys.
you're going to be able
TV shows and the movies you want to watch.
to free. And all of them devices on Preach. You're
flagging anything and anything. Maybe they just hired this company and this company's going crazy and flagging anything and anything. Because mind you, these videos have been up 4 or 5 years.
Could be. To be honest, I bet you it's that John guy that gave them the 7 strikes, and I bet no one else even knows about it. You know what? That could be a very possible. But it also could be that they hired a new, what's it called? Group? MGM? A new group, and they're just striking everything.
So this is a new change that some of this is. And for me, all I'm saying is just communicate this stuff. If your stance has changed, that's fine. But you shouldn't be able to threaten somebody's livelihood.
No.
Okay? When you come out and say, I'm good with this stuff, and then you change it and you don't inform nobody.
There's a reason why we did more videos is because you verbally said that you was good with it.
Yeah. That you can't put it out there that you're okay with people reacting to your shit and making content out of it, and then go and copyright claim a whole bunch of their videos to the point where they risk losing their entire livelihood.
Like, the reason why we kept on doing it was like, well, so was you saying, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
We could have, but we didn't because it's fine. It's okay. And you went so on and so forth, whatever.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It's not a big deal. Like, we have such a library of stuff that we can pull from and things we can cover that this is not going to be a huge loss for us. It's fine. Like, I think we might put out maybe, 1 or 2 videos on Jubilee a day. We put 5 videos out a week. It's not a big deal. We can replace that with something else. But my question is, what are they doing to smaller channels? Because I know they're not doing this to the really big ones. And is this just a company that people have hired that have gone AY? Because that's happened before too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to their credit, like, I don't want to say it, but I have contacted them. I emailed them. They've seen the email. You know, I've DM'd them. And, you know, because there was no response, I'm like, all right, let me just go about this publicly because, you know, there's no answer privately.
So he's actually trying to contact them behind the scenes, and they're ignoring him. Yeah, I would make a video about it. I would make a video about it for sure. They already made the point. If it was the new company, then Cody Co, PewDiePie, all those other people would have gotten hit. True. It would have been through content ID flag. This would have been through a content ID flag. This was obviously manually done. 7 videos. Yeah. And
figure this out. Now, I don't want to slander them. I like their content. Honestly, I think they've fostered some really good discussions in the past. But yeah, it is a shame. And this is what I've been telling you guys, the viewers, about this. We are, at the end of the day, employees. We're contractors, but we only really are contracted to YouTube, essentially. And this stuff is very fickle. That's why I say I don't take this for granted. I recognize that this shit can disappear at any time. So if it does, or if that ever happens, know that I'll be okay with it. I'm not going to, cry myself to sleep or whatever. But
we can do something about it. So why don't you just take off the videos?
Why?
Why would you keep them if that's a problem? It looks like it's a problem. So you could take them down, and then it's not problem's going to be solved.
Because I think it sets a bad precedent for copyright stuff on YouTube in general.
It does. Why should you take videos down that you were told were okay to make, and now they're all of a sudden bad to make, and nobody else is getting claimed? Why take them down? I wouldn't take them down. I'd be like, no, you either take this shit away, or you come out and you say, we've changed our mind, nobody react to our shit anymore.
I can understand that.
Yeah, if you just let all these companies who just come in and then want a copyright claim, like, listen, if there was going to be a legal battle, then let that be the case. And I think that's okay too. Why not? Because then what if everyone else starts copyright striking everything?
I understand.
Would you concede to that too?
No, that's not what I'm saying. But if like, for example, we've had copyright strike before and they were ruled that it was falsely done, but now they're somehow going through with this. So would you want to do a legal battle with that?
I don't think that's a horrible idea. I think that's fine. And I think it's a worthwhile thing.
Okay, so you want to go with a legal battle with it?
I think I would prefer that.
Okay, cool. I didn't.
Yeah, I'm not just sit here and be like, oh, well, the channel gets deleted.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, at least that's what. But I prefer not having to do any of that because I don't think it's in their mission statement to be copyright striking people and deleting people. And I know this whole situation is really bizarre because you know what? From some creators, like I could see it, but from this one, I'm a little bit more surprised by it. But anyways, that's what's going on. That's why I've been kind of dealing with in the background. So I'll get back to uploading regularly soon in the future. But I just got to figure this out because I need to make sure if I'm going to be working on all the other videos that there's still going to be a channel around for you guys to enjoy. Hopefully, Jubilee can take care of this and handle this. Apparently, we're going to start getting strikes in the next 5 days, so we'll see what happens at that point. But yeah, that's what's going on right now. What are your thoughts?
I think you should take them down for now and take legal actions. I don't think the legal actions can be taken down. We don't think that we can. We don't have. Hold on. We can proceed with legal actions and still take those down. We could do both, but whatever. Because it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a hell of a while.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, we could lose the channel. So
possible. Well, there you guys go. Abba and Preach might just be gone real soon. What are your thoughts?
It's possible.
I think I'm with Preach. I would take the videos down temporarily, and I would fight I would fight Jubilee, and then after the fight I would re-upload. I know I would lose the views, but I would rather lose views than the entire channel. You know what I mean? I would rather lose all those old views and have to re-upload and gain views back than lose my entire fucking channel and then be just not able to upload. That is not something I would be willing to lose if I were in Ava and Preach's position. But that's just me. Well, my friends, that was a pretty good stream, I think. I got us through 2.5 hours of content, and I was sitting here stressing. I was stressing. I like, even on the phone with driving, I'm like, I don't think I have enough content, but look at that. I did. Look at that. Holy shit. Anyway, I'll be back tonight. We're going to be doing some more gameplay with Smoke in casual matches, and we may jump online or into ranked. We'll see. But I got a few wins with Smoke before I logged off last night. He is a lot more execution heavy than Ashra is, so I'm still dropping combos left and right. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So come by the combat hour tonight. Let's we'll have some fun. We'll have some chatting, and you can watch me get my Smoke better. All right? So we'll see you guys tonight. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Bye, guys.